So by now you've probably heard of backpacking. You know, that thing where hiking meets camping and you carry all the necessary items to survive several days in the wilderness on your back. But have you ever wondered where the idea of backpacking comes from? Like, how long have people been doing it? At least, in the way we think of it today. Well, as it turns out, for about as long as Homo sapiens have been making tools, we've been figuring out ways to stash them on the go. Our ability to manipulate our environment, as well as an insatiable urge to explore and seek out new opportunities, is kind of what makes us, us. But modern backpacking, the kind where people carry around their gear for fun as opposed to survival, is a pretty recent occurrence, you know, evolutionarily speaking. It can really be traced back to the middle to late 1800s. A burgeoning post-Civil War middle class were looking to take advantage of an excess of military surplus supplies, spare time, and a quickly growing national trail system. But the new pastime still had a long way to go. The spirit was there, but the tools? They still needed some work. Packs were large, equipment was heavy, and access was limited. But you throw in a couple world wars and some explosions in prosperity, and suddenly the tools started getting better. And not in a subjective way either, in a very literal, measurable way. Things got smaller, stronger, and lighter all at once. This allowed backpackers to do more, go deeper, and stay longer. When the environmental movement of the 60s and 70s started to pop, the stage was set for a backpacking revolution. And that brings us to here, today, when anyone interested in spending a few days, weeks, or months in the backcountry has access to thousands of state-of-the-art tools. These days, the biggest challenge to overcome is trying to decide which tools to bring in the first place. But when it comes to getting out there, and by that I mean out there, there will always be one unshakable truth. Weight and space are at a premium, and whatever doesn't find its place in the pack won't make the journey. So now that we know that we can go backpacking, and more easily than ever before, the question becomes, why? Why do it in the first place? Modern infrastructure has made access to the outdoors easier than ever, so why the urge to make it harder? Well, while the trailheads may be getting closer, many of the things that we turn to the wilderness for in the first place, like rugged, solitary places, intact natural systems, abundant wildlife, and yeah, even great fishing, seem to be getting farther and farther away. So sometimes, if you want to experience everything that nature has to offer, you just gotta get out there, way out there. And if you packed the right tools and conjured enough grit, you just might make it far enough to experience something special. Something that few others, if anyone, will. And in the end, you might discover that it doesn't really matter if the fish were big, or small, or even there at all. What mattered was getting there, and all the things you found along the way, both out in the world and within yourself. Because at the end of the day, the act of backpacking hasn't changed at all in the last 200 years. It's just gotten harder and harder to come up with excuses for why you can't do it. So what are you waiting for? Get out there.